Okay, here we are set up for our 25 point war game skirmish between G-Dog's Cygnarian army and my garrison's Khadorian army. And before we go forward, just to point out a couple of the terrain pieces you've seen on this channel recently. There's the rocky outcropping, there's the water tower and the coal bin and the Warjack repair shop, and there's the rural homestead. Let's talk about the armies, because this is, after all, a battle report. So over here on the Cygnarian side, we have an ironclad and Coleman Stryker. We have a trencher chain gun crew. We have a charger. We have a unit of long gunners with the unit attachment. And finally we have Dirty Meg and Mule. Now if we go across the battlefield, over here we have Widowmakers. Golden Lord, here is just an extra usage of points, not really marshaling anything, because Commandant Irusk is in charge of the Destroyer and the Juggernaut. Then we have a Winter Guard mortar crew. We have Irusk, no more mercenaries, Dan Bull, and Man of War Coleman. So here we are from the Khadorian perspective, ready to go into battle, and let's take it away. Okay, so here we are at the end of turn one, and as you can see, G-Dog's army is mainly marching down this road with Coleman Stryker with Ironclad in tow, his chain gun and his charger, and then over here he's got his long gunners, and sneaking through the forest he's got Dirty Meg and Mule. And then we're still out of range of each other, because over here my advanced deployment has allowed me to move my Widowmaker snipers up into the rocky outcropping terrain. Following them up is Golden Lord, who's mainly in support of my Commandant Irusk battle group. I've got my mortar covering the road down here, and then also I've got Dan and Bull and Irusk moving into the pit stop, as we've decided to call it, with the Warjack repair shop, the water tower, and the coal bin. And over here I've got Man of War Coleman anchoring my right flank. So no engagement as of the first turn. We are definitely, as you can see from the video, closing on each other. Okay, so at the end of turn two, we finally have some action. G-Dog's army is again kind of gathered up on the left flank here from his original deployment, using this Warjack repair shop as cover, all bunched up for me. But nonetheless, enjoying the cover against all my nice ranged attacks. My Widowmakers are over here, out of range, but kind of holding down the left. I'm advancing my battle group of Warjacks and Commandant Irusk with support from Golden Lord down the middle of the road, trying to get to him. And over here you can see I've got Dan and Bold and Irusk, my Mercs, kind of holding down the middle right. Irusk this turn took a shot right through the crates using her Phantom Seeker, which is a nasty ability, which G-Dog always uses against me when he plays her, so I've been anxious to use her. And I took out a long gunner that was right about there. And over here we're just dancing around each other with Mule and Dirty Meg and now Man of War Coleman. And I've moved my mortars from the road position, since he moved out of sight, to this area so that I can fire towards him down this area in case he moves into that clearing. Alright, so that's the end of turn two, and we'll see what happens in a second in turn three. Okay, so here we are on the end of turn three, and you can see G-Dog's army has taken up position with his Mule inside the rural homestead, and he's got, of course, Dirty Meg there as the Jack Marshal for that one. You've got an Ironclad and what's left of his trencher unit in this area. I did succeed in scoring some hits against his army this turn with a I'm moving my army in from the flank, right, kind of taking a left flank attack on him. Now because my Warjacks ran, they didn't do any damage, and these Widowmakers don't have line of sight or range, but Commandant Irusk was able to cast airburst in this area, and he took out a chain gunner and his loader. As far as the other side of the battlefield, I had some more additional success this turn. Alright, and so what I did was attack with my mortar, and even though it missed my initial target of these long gunners up front and the charger, they did drift back and kill the long gunner captain and another couple long gunners. Over here, Man of War Kovnik took some shots and did a little denting damage on the charger, as did Irusk, who shot through the wall and picked a little bit of this charger away too, but he's still fairly healthy at this point in the game. And Dan and Blythe and Bull tried to lay down some long-range fire, but I mismeasured and my shot fell short of the intended target, just out of range. So fairly successful turn here, turn 3 for Khador. Cygnar took a little bit of a punch, but they've still got their heavy jacks, and they've still got Coleman Stryker, so they are definitely still lethal. So at this point in the game, I was going to have to be very careful. Okay, so here we are at the end of turn 4, and I've moved up my Widowmakers and my to the hedges, and because I ran, I didn't get a shot this turn. However, my heavies are moving in, my heavy jacks. The Destroyer took a shot at his charger, but G-Dog had casted a blur on it, so it missed. My Juggernaut had to run to get into that position, so he's not doing anything yet. Irusk did cast Airburst on top of that charger and hit him with just a couple points of damage because it's a low power spell. Over on this side, as you can see, G-Dog casting Snipe on his long gunners did succeed in killing one of my crewmen from my mortar. I retaliated in my turn, and my mortar landed right on the rest of his long gunners and took all 3 of them out except for his standard bearer, which Irusk took out with her Phantom Bolt. As far as over here near the rural homestead, Kovnik, Mule, Coleman, Stryker pretty much were out of the battle this turn. And as you can also see, G-Dog hit his Ironclad in the woods over here. So in turn 5, we'll see what happens next. Okay, so at the end of turn 5, I was picking on his Ironclad with my Widowmakers. They didn't really do much at all. Fortunately, during this turn, my Juggernaut did finish off his charger, which was right there. So the Ice Axe just barely scraped him, but the Power Fist, finished him off, the open fist. As far as over here, all quiet on the eastern front, you might say. The Mule did, however, pick away a little bit at my Juggernaut, and as did his charger, so I'm a little dented there during his phase, but everything else there is not a big part of the battle this round. So looking ahead to the next 2 turns, I expect that they will be decisive and decide the outcome of the game. Okay, this was a very interesting turn. We both beat each other up pretty good. It started with G-Dog's turn, and he really knocked the heck out of my Destroyer. That cannon arm is wrecked. I'm hanging on by a thread as far as damage boxes. Cortex is gone. Not looking pretty. And so that's what he did with his Ironclad to me. He also casted some spells with Coleman Stryker in here, buffing the defenses of some of his units with Blur. Mule over here took a shot, and that's where Dan and Blythe and Bull used to be, but he made them go away. So during my turn, I counterstruck and I did a little counter damage. Alright, we'll start on that same side. My mortar missed Mule, but drifted into where Dirty Meg used to be right there and obliterated her. I'm flanking this turn with my Man of War Kovnik, trying to give him something else to think about up here. Alright, but we'll see how that goes. And over here, did some heavy damage to his Ironclad, but that pesky thing is hanging on with one single box left, and it's a Cortex box. That's all he's got left on his old heavy warjack. My Widowmakers took shots, but because he was in cover and had Blur cast upon himself, didn't have any chance to hit him even though he was in range. So that was this turn, and I think we're getting close to the end. We'll see what happens next round.